Elio Mo says, my church recently renovated our hall to be more upbeat and have flashy lights. I'm extremely disheartened by this. Do you have any advice? Elio, I guess one of the things I would encourage, and I don't know the details here, okay? Maybe there's other things going on at your church that should discourage you, but I would suggest that this probably shouldn't. It's not that important in the big scheme of things. The church has lights, a renovated hall area. Like, I don't see how this is really important that much. You know, in some of us, what we do is we get used to certain things. Let me give you an example of this. When Calvary Chapels were first really getting going, one of the popular things, and we liked it, okay, and I wasn't even around at the time, right? I was much later, okay? Really became part of Calvary Chapels like 2000, okay? So really, that's when I really became part of that. But one of the things that people liked, even as late as 2000, was warehouse churches. It was just considered cool and authentic to be like in a warehouse church. And people would just, their church was growing so fast, and Calvary grew fast and in a glorious way. God really blessed it. And so they just meet in this like big like warehouse type thing where they just have like folding chairs put out. And then people started thinking that the warehouse church itself represented the authenticity of the movement and the work of the Spirit. And as they moved into better, nicer buildings that had better structures, and they started to become more trendy, and they started putting up more lights and things like that, which did happen, that represented a move from authenticity to like fabricated spirituality or something like that. I think that these things, we have to here's the thing. Authentic spirituality would recognize that warehouse or fancy lights are irrelevant. It's all the other things that you're just assigning this meaning to this stuff. I remember thinking that when I was really young in the Lord, thinking that a church with stained glass windows was somehow compromised. And I never would have said it out loud, but I felt it in my heart, and I was completely wrong and just very unaware of a lot of things, to be honest. And I'm so embarrassed to even say out loud I felt that way, but I did, because I associated the stained glass windows with the religious move away from authentically just being people of the word to being people of tradition and of man-made traditions and man-made rules and man-made policies that drift further and further from the commitments to Jesus that we should have. But the stained glass windows had nothing to do with that. There's nothing wrong with those. Are beautiful and those are wonderful. I appreciate them now. You know, I like a building with stained glass windows and cool symbolism and artwork that represents, you know, truths of Christianity. So I'm just going to suggest that you should separate. Like, maybe in your church you're concerned about some other changes that are going on that you see as unhealthy, but don't project that onto the lighting and the hall and stuff like that. Focus on what really matters. Maybe there's real issues. Focus on those things. Pray about those things. Talk to leaders about those things. If you make it about those other issues, your voice will sound like white noise to them, because they'll think, why do you care so much about that? It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Okay, let's go to question 16. But before we do, I just want to share with you guys, there's an apologetics conference coming up. Okay, I'm not making any money off of anything by sharing this with you. I don't work that way. But I was asked to share. I actually spoke at this conference last year. I can't make it this year, but they asked me to share it with you guys. So February 9th through 11th, the Anchored conference is, and it says mostly apologetics conference. It's for apologists and missionaries, and you can actually get half off if you use the code I put down in the video description. They gave me a code for you. So any Bible Thinker listeners can get half off by using the ticket code 50WINGER23. That's 50 capital W Winger 23, and you get half off. And if you're a missionary, you can get 100% off. And there's a link in the description. Has all those details. Anyway, you just put capital DA and then missions 100 for that if you're a missionary. You can go in person or you can watch online, and you can see they have some great speakers: Lee Strobel, J. Warner Wallace, Greg Kokel, Clay Jones, Craig Hazen, and Lineage Garrison. And there's other speakers too. Go to Desert Apologetics. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Desert Apologetics, not to me. I'm not the question source for all this stuff. I just wanted to pass on the information. And I was there last time. This conference is small enough that you actually get to interact with the speakers a lot if you want to. And so that's kind of a cool thing.